Sean, we did a video a little while ago, our pros versus AMs video, about moving the hands faster to start the downswing, getting more lag as that happens. A lot of comments, a lot of questions on how to do that.
Yeah.
It's not going to be difficult once you see how to do it, but there's a fear with a lot of golfers out there that if you do X, it's going to cause you to steepen the club. If you pull the hands down, that's going to cause you to steepen the club. We're going to show you in today's video how to get the hands moving faster, how to get them moving faster earlier without steepening the club. There's a really kind of, we'll call it damaging idea that's going around out there in the golf instruction, that if the hands work down at all, that's going to cause the club to steepen.
Yeah.
And we see this demonstrated a lot. We see, okay, to shallow the club, you need to go this way. To steepen the club, if you go down, you're going to steepen the club.
Yeah.
And
it looks good on paper, but it doesn't really work like that.
I'm doing that by the torque I'm putting on the club, right?
Exactly.
We as golfers have, most of the time, two hands on the club, and that creates a torque. Like if I hold the club right here, I'm putting a torque to keep this club from falling, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding it here, I'm putting a torque. So when you're a golfer and you're swinging up to the top, you're torquing the club. You are responsible for this
where
pitch.
that goes.
There's no magic to this. There's no magic to this.
Well, if I held it like this,
right,
that would be one thing, but you have two hands on the club and you're putting some force in the club, so it doesn't really work like that. Just because I take my hands out, that doesn't mean I'm going to shallow the club at all.
We see golfers steepen it from there every day.
Actually, most of them do.
Yes.
And just because I take my hands down, I could shallow the club and pull my hands down as hard as I want. So it really, it looks good. We say it looks good on paper. It doesn't really work like that.
See the best players in the world take their hands that way and shallow it.
I don't have to go out to shallow. In fact, going out, most of the time, that guy swings over the top. If you stand on the lesson tee long enough, the guy that takes the hands out does not shallow the golf club. No. It just doesn't happen.
Well, you can't get the hands, do that again.
Yeah.
You can't get the hands out over the golf ball and have any useful, even if they're shallows, it's not useful.
Well, you can if you have some crazy ulnar deviation, but no one's going to hit like that.
Right.
So what use is it to drive the hands out over the target line?
There's not.
Right?
Yep.
So let's get back to the discussion of the video though. Does pulling down or getting speed in the arms cause the club to steepen? And no, it does not have to, right? It can.
Getting the club into you will cause the club.
So let me slow that down, right?
Let's break it down.
So I'm at the top of the swing, and we've got other videos on how to arrive at the top of the swing.
Right.
You need some width in the right arm. Your chest has got to be rotated, right?
Shoulders.
Right shoulder behind you, hips recentered, pressure approaching 50-50.
Sure.
If you don't do that,
You're in trouble.
all bets are off when you start pulling on this club because you're out of position.
Right.
Right? You could steepen it then, but if you're in a good spot, right here, if I want to get some speed in the arms without steepening, I have to maintain some width in this right arm, right?
And by that, you're meaning this angle is 90 degrees.
Yeah.
You're widening this angle on the downswing.
Yeah.
You see this from Rory, you see this from the great players in the world. They don't narrow this angle.
And we'll cut to a gears video in a minute just to kind of show that. They're not, the kiss of death, and this is where people get off track. When you pull on the arms and you pull on them in this direction, pull down and in, because that feels powerful, right? When I pull down and in and narrow this angle, I can see what that does. That makes this arm wrestle, right? As I pull in and narrow the arm, that steepens the club. It's not the fact that I'm pulling down, because I could pull down and drive the club over shallow it. Right? I'm in control of this golf club.
That's right.
So as long as you're putting speed in the arms and maintaining width and getting the left arm down away from the right shoulder, right? Some of these angles we talk about in some other videos, as long as you're not going this way too much, right? You can get speed in the arms without steepening the golf club.
You can get it early.
You can get it early,
right? So
which is key.
You can come out of the top with speed and acceleration in the arms, grip, club hand, however you want to think about it, early. One, if you don't have the concept of trying to leave the arms up or be passive.
Yeah.
Right? So the arm elevates in the backswing. It's as easy to see with something like gears. And we can put a number on it.
If I'm at address and I just turn,
that's not getting you to the top.
Now I can fold my elbow a little, that gives me a little elevation, but there's got to be some elevation off the body.
So there's elevation to get to the top.
Yes.
There has to be, what's the opposite of elevation? De-elevation?
Probably just lowering.
Lowering to get the arm back down.
Yes.
Right? You can't do one and think you just leave these up and turn and tilt to get the other.
Well, you made the motion. The guy that does leave the arms up, many times as he does that, he has to had a ton of side bend late to fit the club in.
Yep.
Right? So where it can make an impact to the ball.
We've talked to physio guys, right? Guys who work on the body all the time. We talked to other golf instructors. We've seen it for years on gears now. Golfers don't really struggle with being able to open and rotate. They struggle with being able to tilt as they do that.
At the right time.
Yes. So if you're trying to get up here and rotate, you have to put in the hardest thing to put in for most golfers.
A major
at the
amount of
very
tilt.
later time.
And
it's
very
difficult.
very hard on your back too.
Very difficult.
So you're making it harder than it needs to be.
That's right.
I can go up to the top, practice lowering my arms down and gradually add speed. And we see McElroy doing this drill on the range now where he grips the club like this. He's putting as much speed as he can into his arms, and he's not.
And he's widening.
And he's widening. I'm not going this way. Narrowing would steepen it. I'm putting speed in, and look how much I can bend that club. So I'm rapidly expanding this right arm angle as I'm getting speed in the club. It doesn't by any means cause me to steepen the club.
No.
I'm in control of that.
No, that's exactly right. So in answer to all those questions, okay, great, as you showed us in the pros versus hams how to do that.
Yeah.
One, the very biggest one is don't try to be passive and don't try to leave your arms up.
Yeah.
You're not going to have early acceleration by doing that. Two, early acceleration in the downward motion. You take someone like Rory, DJ, they're moving back away from the ball. So they're going more than down, they're going back.
Yeah, because that allows them to start to use their body to open up as they start down without throwing the club and the grip too far over the target line.
So the idea that anything moving down in the hands causes the club to steepen is patently not true.
Yeah, you can let that one go.
Or all the great players in the world would be steepers on the downswing, and they're not.
We've got plenty of swings and gears that shows that hand path going down and back.
You even see guys, you could say someone like Matt Wolff who has the outward hand path going up. His club, it's like this. His club starts to shallow as the hands are moving back.
That's a good
right?
point.
That's when the club tips back behind him is when he's shallowing. He's not going from here and then taking his hand forward to shallow it. The club starts to shallow as the hand path is working back away.
Yeah.
So that's when the club shallows. You're in control of that. You're in control of the pitch. So if you take the hands out to the golf ball, we see that every day, that steepens the club. We see golfers steepen the club coming down. We see golfers steepen the club going back. We see golfers steepen the club from every possible angle.
Yeah, I could go back and steepen it.
Yes.
I could go out and steepen it.
That's right.
Right?
So none of those guarantee you anything.
No, they don't.
You have to be in charge of the pitch of the club.
Yeah, so let's look at some swings on gears.
Yep.
Right? Take a look at how this works in action with some good data using 3D motion capture.
Sure.
And then we'll be back at the end to give you a drill.
Awesome. Here you're looking at the 3 pros from our pros versus AMs video on creating more hand speed and doing that earlier. Just for reference, these guys are among the best when it comes to swinging a golf club. Combined, they've won 6 majors, 37 wins out on tour, and have won over $100 million. So what you're seeing is them from the top of their swings down into impact. And the number you're seeing under each player is their right arm bend in real time as they're moving throughout the downswing. Notice how at the top, they all have a right arm bend of less than 90 degrees. That's their trail arm bent less than 90 degrees. Now that's something that we typically don't see from amateur golfers. They typically have much more right arm bend. We've seen as much as 130 degrees at the top of the swing. So step 1 in creating width, which is necessary to create speed, is to have 90 degrees or less from your right arm, from your trail arm at the top of the swing. As we start these guys down, you're going to see how quickly they begin to straighten their trail arms. The first 2 guys do it immediately out of the top, and the third does it very soon out of the top. He adds about 3 to 4 degrees of bend, then starts to straighten, and all of them are straightening by left arm parallel. So step 2 is taking the width you established at the top and start adding to it right away, like you're seeing these great players do here. Doing this allows you to move the handle faster, earlier, and it gets the club in front of you as you rotate into impact. All of which are hallmarks of great swings. Now you're looking at the same 3 swings from the same 3 guys. We're just showing you their lateral shift numbers now from the top into impact. All 3 guys have shifted away from the target in their backswings, and all 3 guys have recentered themselves by the time they're here at the top. As they start moving down, you'll notice something that we see in great golf swings, and it's something that adds to your ability to create more width and generate more clubhead speed. Notice that while they're creating width with their arms, they're shifting both their upper body and lower body in the opposite direction. This is where most golfers cost themselves speed. They'll shove their hips forward, but tilt their upper bodies back in the direction they're moving the club, killing their width in the process, basically the exact opposite of what you're seeing here. And that's step 3 for creating width, moving both your upper and lower body forward as you move the arms and hands away. As you're seeing here, the window to all this happens from the top to left arm parallel in the downswing. This combo is how the game's greats create rapid early acceleration they later can turn into higher clubhead speed down by the ball. Here we're still looking at the same 3 swings. Now we're just looking at them from down the line. We're focusing now on their club movements and hand paths, which are the green lines here on your screen. We talk a lot about how the hands move sharply downward to start the downswing. That window of movement is from the top to when the hands get under the shoulder turn, which is what you're seeing here. All of these guys have a down and back start to their downswing hand paths. Then as they continue down to where the hands are just below the shoulder, you can see how vertical this first critically important phase of the hand path is. This phase is important because this is the phase where the shallowing of the shaft occurs. So while their hands are moving back, then down, they are shallowing the club. And as you can see here, there's nothing about a back and down hand path that causes their clubs to steepen. We see these hand paths from great players over and over again, and great players really aren't known for having steep clubs in the downswing. By contrast, we see a lot of golfers allow their hands to move out towards the golf ball to start the downswing, and we typically see those same golfers also struggle with steep club shafts. Hopefully now, seeing how width is created by the arms and body, along with the path the hands take early in the downswing, will start to connect the dots for you as to how to create early acceleration in your downswing. Now let's look at a great drill to help you make all this happen. So we're going to look at one of the best players in the world for our drill here. We're going to get the arms, hands moving down quicker, sharper, and we're going to get this width creating on the downswing. So we're going to look at Rory's drill.
Yeah, it's a great drill, and there's a bunch of videos going around on Instagram showing him do it, and I've been teaching it a lot just because I think it captures a lot of things you're trying to do in the downswing. One of them is because your hands are split, it automatically gives you more width.
I like using a driver for this too because there's flex in the shaft.
You can
really feel it.
Yeah, so grip it kind of shoulder width, basically. One over, one under, like a normal grip. Take it up to the top, and the goal is to get as much speed as possible by the time your hands get to in front of your leg. And I want you to put the brakes on.
Yes, accelerate and stop.
So you learn how to accelerate and decelerate very rapidly, right? Now watch what this does to the shaft. Your goal is to almost try to break the shaft. You can see that thing, what I'm doing to it. My right arm's coming just about in front of my right thigh, and I'm putting the brakes on as I do that. And you can see I'm working up a little sweat here.
Now, we talk about doing these drills slow all the time. This is one you don't do slow.
Yeah, so do it a few times, and what you can see when I do that, I'm by no means doing this. So this gives you the drill to get speed in your arms without steepening, and there's no way that club is going to steepen unless I drive it. Right? Unless I drive it this way and get my arm in internal rotation.
Let's go face on again.
Yeah.
Now you're not lowering that club by tilting your shoulders.
No, I'm straightening the right arm out and turning my chest over the ball.
So you're not doing this.
Yeah.
Right? You wouldn't make that thing bounce as much.
And I could take it down and back as well. If I wanted to go that way with it, just because I'm going down and back doesn't mean I'm steepening it.
That's right.
And just because at no point would I try to do it, I couldn't do it that way. It just gives you a good feel of what you're trying to do with the driver. And a lot of you have asked, how do I get more speed in the arms without steepening it? This is a drill you want to use.
You out of breath?
Good drill.
Give that drill a try.
And then hit a ball with your driver immediately.
Be aggressive with it. Do it 4 or 5 times, hit a ball. 4 or 5 times, hit a ball. Be aggressive, be quick, be fast, be reckless with it. Create that width. You're going to see better drives when you do it.
Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy it, go ahead and give it a like. Also, If you have any questions about today's video, or you have an idea of a video that you want us to shoot, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. We read every single comment. We also respond to the comments. So again, leave us a comment if you have any questions or there's anything you'd like to see. Now, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button. We have videos coming out every single week and we don't want you to miss one. So by clicking subscribe, that ensures you're notified right away when a new video comes out. And hey, if you want to add instant distance to your driving, we all do, everybody wants more distance, go ahead and click the link in the pinned comment below. You're going to see a link. Click on it, it's going to take you to a page. You're going to enter your name and email address. We're going to send you an email where you're going to get access to instant distance, which is a video training that we put out. We know it's going to help you. We know we're going to see you farther down the fairway.